Everything you're about to hear is for entertainment purposes only. They are the rantings of a man who's had 4 hours sleep after changing diapers with a newborn. So take everything that he says with a grain of salt. It might be based on reality, or it might be pure madness.
Man, I can't believe I'm the one that's got to do this, right? I'm the one that's got to do this. Listen, guys, I believe that everybody should be accountable for everything, right? But I also believe in fairness, and I also believe in being grateful. Whatever you want to say about one Thomas Tallarico, the one thing that he did is he was entertaining, and he was so entertaining that he brought a lot of people onto YouTube with him, including myself, right? I can speak for myself, but there's many others. Without Thomas Tallarico, my channel would be still in the 200s, right? I'd still be talking about things nobody cares about, like I still am, right? I put out videos, some of them get 50 views, some of them get 30 views, whatever. But Tommy's guaranteed for over 100, right? And that's what made my channel grow. I believe in being grateful, but I also believe in not letting things go when somebody is being ungrateful. And I'm going to speak in generalities here because this applies to more than one person, right? To many people out there, maybe this is something that'll make people reflect. For whatever faults Tommy may have had, right? He did benefit a lot of people. I mean, some of people were benefited economically, and some people were benefited with views, like myself and, subscribers. But I've only ever commented, on his work, right? And that's all I've really done. I don't know the man. I don't know what what he is like in person, just like everybody else. And I tell everybody, you don't know any of these people because when they're talking to you, they're at work, right? And by all accounts, Tommy's a very nice person when you talk to him in person. What he does behind the scenes, well, that's something completely different, right? But he is an amicable person, and he does have the gift of gab when he's talking to people. But this is about not only holding Tommy accountable for whatever his mistakes in business were, but it's also about holding people accountable who are now turning their back on him, right? I'm never going to say anything personally bad about the man because I don't know him. I can talk about court proceedings, I can talk about business, I can talk about other things. But the reason I don't talk to him about him personally is because I owe him a debt of gratitude because I wouldn't have this channel if it wasn't for him, right? But that's just me. I'm just a YouTuber. I'm just some, guy on the internet talking into a phone. But some of these people have benefited even more, right? They've not only built their channels, right? Some people have gotten long salaries on this. We're talking about people that made hundreds of thousands of dollars are now throwing the man under the bus. I don't believe that people should get away with being ungrateful and not recognizing that the man did bring benefits to them, right? He did, not only monetarily, but in popularity and, some YouTubers with subscribers, right? And now what is everybody saying, right? Well, they're trying to defend Phil and the actions he's taking and why he's doing it. All has to do with past leadership. And let's just start with Phil, right? Because it starts with him, right? He said it right in his email. I pointed it out to you exactly where he threw Tommy under the bus. And was Tommy great at business? No, he wasn't, right? But let me tell you something. All these people were around. Every single person that is running Intellivision now was around when Tommy was around. And what did they do? Nothing. They did absolutely nothing, right? And why did they do nothing? Because everybody was benefiting, right? Everybody that's pro Intellivision right now was benefiting, whether it's a creator, whether it's somebody that works at television that were receiving a salary. Everything was hunky-dory. And they benefited from the man. They benefited from his efforts, right? Any popularity YouTubers had by him coming on the channel was because of his personality. Any income that these people got, from working at Intellivision had directly 100% to do with Tommy's effort to raise money for the company and spending it on salaries instead of spending it, on the console. And that's how we got here. So they benefited from the man. So I find it disheartening, right, that these same people are not going to turn around and blame everything on him, when at the time when this was occurring, when they could have affected change in the company, they did nothing. And they did nothing because they were taking salaries. Let's remember, what did the Edgar paper say? Right? They were taking additional compensation in the first quarter of this year, in 2022, I'm sorry. So whatever efforts he did, there was enough money around for these guys to even take bonuses after not producing anything. Now, these are the same people that are now throwing Tommy under the bus, saying it was all his fault. Well, if you really felt that way, how about just returning the bonuses? How about returning some of the salary for not producing anything, right? That will never happen. That will never happen, right? So you can see how when you look back at it in time, you could see these people as ungrateful to him and his efforts. Now what is he doing? He's going to court on his own. Intellivision didn't answer. He's got to answer the bill because he did a personal guarantee. You got 300 million guys out there. Are they chipping in? Oh, hell no. You have Phil Adam over there. And let's be real here. Phil Adam doesn't remember what he said 2 months ago. He's either dumb like a fox or he just doesn't know what he's doing. But either way, he's just a figurehead for whoever is really in charge in there. And if you want to know who's really in charge, you got to know who's running the money over there. You got $300 million guys over there, and they're telling everybody exactly how the cookie's going to crumble. Now, should this company go mobile? Absolutely. Right? If you want to be profitable long term, you got to be in software. Hardware is a loser, right? But now we have the same people, right? Same people that benefited, saying, look what Phil is working with. Look what he inherited. Starting with Phil. Yeah, it's right. The company's where it's at because of Tommy. But at the same time, none of these guys were saying no to Tommy. And why? Because they were getting big fat checks, right? For producing nothing. Absolutely nothing. So now you have to believe these guys. They want you to believe, right? In this pivot that they're taking. Because absolutely you're throwing Tommy under the bus. What do I say about Tommy Tallarico? I say that he tried the best he could, but he didn't know what he was doing, and it shows in his results. Do I believe he thought he could do it? Yes, I really do. I believe he believed he could do it. That's why he was signing personal guarantees, because he thought he could do it. But, you can't will yourself into having a set of skills that you don't, no matter how many secret books you read, right? He was just not prepared for the job. But to go back in time and do revisionist history and say that was all his fault, number one, is disingenuous, because he kept people there that should have been fired year one for not producing, right? I don't know. I can tell you this. I don't know where the marketing, John Alvarado and everybody else there would have kept their jobs after year two. I don't know anywhere else where you could produce that little and still have a job. Right? So he did benefit people. To now claim that it was completely everything's his fault, I think is disingenuous. To say that Phil inherited all this stuff and he's got to do this and that and the other. The same people that were telling Tommy that they loved him are now throwing him under the bus. You got to put some respect on that man's name. If it wasn't for Tommy Tallarico, none of us would be here, right? You can say whatever you want about the man, but he was entertaining as hell, and he benefited a lot of people. For us, it was just viewers and subscriptions. But for a lot of people, it was much more. And those same people are throwing him under the bus. What a shame.
But you better believe Tommy's out there watching those videos, taking notes, making a list, of who was loyal and who wasn't.